Well, this is JC, and this is going to be chapter 9 of my book, A Detective Story. Now, these chapters are a little bit long, and I have to make each chapter into two videos for that reason. So I'll start on this one, and I won't, I'll just stop it at the middle and start right in on the 9B. So this is A Detective Story, chapter 9. And let's see, this is called Hurry and Scurry, Get It Done. And I'll start right now. Anne flushed slightly and asked, "Why me? Tom is the senior detective. He has a lot more experience at detecting than I have. He could probably remember more about it to pass on to the rest of us, too. Besides, most of the people there will probably be men. Wouldn't he be the best choice to go, or Mel or Charlie? I'm the newest here." She had to remember that Billy was no longer there. Charlie quickly piped up, "Not me. I couldn't remember enough to do myself any good, much less bring anything back." Charlie didn't even hesitate to add, "I doubt that Mel would want to go either. He's too much of a homebody." "No worry there," the chief said to Charlie. Riley with a grin, he added, "There isn't enough money in the budget for two people, and if one of you two went, the other would have to go too." "Have you mentioned this to Tom yet?" asked Dan. "Matter of fact, I have. He said just about everything both of you have said. He even suggested I go, since I'm the senior officer. I called Mel last night. He said basically the same thing Charlie said. I made up my mind, though, Ann. You're going. You'll be in plain clothes, and be sure to wear something conservative while you're at the seminar. You're a looker, and there's no need to distract anyone. You've been pretty good at keeping records, and I expect you to bring back some ideas. Remember, this seminar is for the benefit of all of us." He didn't ask if there were any questions. "I have an errand to run," he said. "My cell phone is on in case anything comes up." And he walked out the door. Ann and Charlie looked at each other. "Now, are there any questions?" Ann asked. "That was short and sweet, wasn't it?" Charlie said. "I guess we were the last to know. And another thing, where does he get off asking Mel about what I would think about going? And why didn't he call us last night the same as the others instead of waiting until this morning?" Ann could see that Charlie was getting a little hot about the way this whole thing had been handled. He felt like the chief thought he was so unimportant that he wouldn't mind not being considered at all, and Mel could speak for him, and needed to defuse what could be an explosive situation before it went any farther. "You know, the chief knew you were on dispatch last night, and he probably didn't want you to have to take your mind off your dispatching by telling you about the seminar. I doubt he asked Mel about you. Mel's comment about you not wanting to go probably came out spontaneously during the conversation. You know, like your comment this morning about Mel. You two know each other pretty well. It must be nice to have that much confidence in someone. And I had spoken to the chief earlier, and he probably figured I had already gone to bed. He knows what a grouch I can be if I get woke up at night." You're most likely right," Charlie conceded. "Besides, he probably already had his mind made up to send you all along because of your work on the Abbott case. Maybe he figures you can teach the people at the seminar a few things, or maybe he thinks he can find out how you did it." With that, Charlie chuckled aloud. Ann didn't respond to what Charlie said about how she solved the Abbott case. She wondered why it didn't hit a nerve with her when Charlie mentioned the Abbott case, the way it did when Tom had mentioned it. You know, that is a frequent topic of conversation when you aren't in the office. Everyone wants to know how you did it, even after you told everyone how you did it, the process of elimination and all. I guess I'm about the only one who doesn't care how you did it as long as it got done. Maybe I'll solve something someday. I hope not, though. I don't know if I can handle the fame and attention." Anne grinned, but didn't say anything. Why did she feel like she and Charlie had a secret? She couldn't figure it out, but she was glad. It was almost as good as really sharing her own secret with someone. Anne wondered if there was any way to transfer the case of the mayor's death to Charlie. It would be up to the, quote, voice, end quote, but it probably was too late now. She made a mental note to ask him when he called again. It was now 2 weeks since she had left the garbage bags at the old shack. The first time she did this for the Abbott case, she had waited 3.5 weeks. She thought little about it at the time. Right now, she was thinking about the seminar. It was 1:30 a.m. on the second Tuesday since she had been out to the abandoned shack and left the garbage bags for the voice when the phone rang. Anne had retired early at 9 o'clock and was in REM sleep, her eyes darting around under their closed lids. She was dreaming about a river she had frequented as a child and saw herself in her mind as that same child. It was a clean, gently flowing river, and there was a tree on the bank of the stream with a knotted rope hanging from a limb that reached out over the water. She had to jump to get the rope and swing back and forth to get back to the bank without letting go and dropping into the river. She had just jumped and grabbed the rope as she had many times before when she felt something unfamiliar in her dream. She knew the feeling shouldn't be in her dream, the same dream she had dreamed many times before, one of her favorite dreams, along with the dream of flying and soaring like a bird. At first it was a feeling, but soon it became a sound. It was urgent, and after an instant of half sleep, she awoke with a start. She sat up quickly and realized the sound was the phone ringing. "Ann Martin," she said into the receiver. "Are you plumb awake?" said a voice. "Go get a pencil and paper." "Hold on," said Anne. She walked in the kitchen and laid the phone on the table. She rummaged through a drawer for a pencil and writing pad. "All right," she said. "Go ahead. Now listen carefully and write this down. There are a couple of things you have to do. First, check the charge cards record for everyone who was out of town when Mayor Rafton was shot. Get times and places of every purchase of gas or anything at service stations for a week afterwards, especially out-of-town purchases. Next, check the cleaners' records for every police officer up to a month after the killing. Don't mention no name when you get the records. Just tell them to give you all of them. You'll already know who the killer is, but doing all this will get everyone wondering what's going on and will help you explain how you caught him. Oh, it was Detective Tom Watson that did it. Last, get someone from somewhere else instead of Tulsa City to be with you. When you tell the killer, you know it was him who done the killing. A reporter or someone like that. Maybe that guy from the Enquirer you talked to, Prosser. Yeah, get him. Get Prosser. Remember, though, you can't tell him how you done it. You just tell him that he has to be real secret about going with you, and he can't tell anyone about what's going on. Tell him he has to promise or you'll get someone else. He'll do it. Get in touch with him after you do the other stuff I told you. Wait a little while before you talk to Watson. That way it'll seem like all them records was part of your strategy in solving this thing. Maybe a week. Yeah, a week will do it. That'll be long enough. There was a pause, and Anne felt a stab of panic. "Wait," she said. "I have a question." She wanted to ask about giving the case to Charlie. She heard a breath being expelled over the phone, like the voice had released a sigh. "You don't need no questions," answered the voice. "This is your baby. Maybe in a year or so I'll tell you how I done it. Maybe not." And the voice hung up the phone. And this is the end of Chapter 9A. I'll cut this off and we'll start on Chapter 9B. This is JC. See you in a few.